I'm pregnant, okay? We can't ask these questions. It freaks me out. I think pregnancy gets scarier every time. People say it gets easier. I think it gets scarier because you know more and more. Oh my gosh. How much of a miracle it is. Why am I crying?
That ain't gonna have me tear up, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
With Shawn and Andrew.
A podcast all about couples.
And the things they go through.
I'm really excited about this episode. We don't know much about it. It is asking each other vulnerable questions about pregnancy. But I have a list of questions for you. You have a list of questions for me. This was an idea we sent to our producer because being pregnant is hard. And I'm not talking about like physically on the woman. Relationally, it's difficult.
Although it also is physically difficult from my understanding.
It is.
But yes, it is relationally difficult as well.
And nobody talks about that.
Yes.
I think the only thing, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to jump straight to this because it drives me crazy. And I was talking to another girlfriend who's pregnant and another girlfriend who's pregnant about this. And their responses both were like, made me feel better. The only thing I feel like I hear about in regards to pregnancy and marriage is that people love having sex while pregnant.
That's the only thing you hear about?
Like when it comes to a marriage, yeah.
Interesting.
That's the only thing I hear.
Okay. Where do we go from here now? I'm excited to ask these questions. Lexi and Jenny put these together, scripted this out. We have not seen these, as Shawn said. But I feel like since we've been pregnant a few times now, we've seemingly asked each other everything there is to ask. But I feel like maybe there might be some oddball questions in here. And I'm excited because I don't know how you feel about this show, babe, this podcast. We're like 150 plus episodes in.
Really?
I feel like it has led to more intentional conversations. The feedback seems to have that effect on the people who listen. They will ask each other these questions. So that's a prompt. If you're listening and you're pregnant, maybe you as a couple could go through some of these questions as well.
I also think something that I love about our podcast that I've learned is we posted a little highlight on Instagram the other day of a clip from an interview. And I was reading the comments and people were like, oh, they think they're so wise. They're only 7 years in. And honestly, no, I don't think we're wise at all. And I think we're learning so much. But one of the greatest gifts we have gotten from this show is we have had the opportunity to talk to so many couples who are newlyweds, dating, 50 years into marriage, psychologists, marriage counselors, to where I feel like we have this huge Rolodex of wisdom from people. They're failures, they're lessons, they're all these things that it makes it really cool dealing with our marriage because I feel like we have so many tools to use.
We have a lot of things to refer to, like, oh, remember when Drew and Ellie said that, or remember when Brian and Sonia said that.
Or remember when so-and-so went through that just like we are, and this is how they got through it. It's been really cool that way.
The show does feel like a collective wisdom bucket of this topic, marriage and relationships. And
counseling session every week.
For you and I.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump into this.
Okay.
So you want to alternate?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Andrew Dean East, father of our children.
Yes.
What makes you nervous that you maybe haven't shared with me before about my pregnancies or giving birth?
Honestly, the idea, we've had friends who have had really close calls in the birthing process.
Very traumatic births.
They almost died. The mom did.
Yeah.
That thought doesn't usually cross my mind, but as we've been hearing more and more stories, I'm like, dang. It's all kind of fun and games thinking about, oh, there's a kid and I'm nervous. What is it going to be like to hold the baby? How are the kids? But it's no, that would be a huge life shift, right? Should something go poorly in that realm. Also, I think when we had our 2 vessel cord issue, I just realized how intricate the whole process is and how many things can go wrong. And so it's just humbling, of dang, I can't do what can we do? Make sure you go to your doctor's appointments and I go with you to most of them. But other than that, it's out of control.
Eat healthy. I mean, whatever.
Also, I love how you do pregnancy. You live life full tilt still. You're really like thoughtful, but you're not a super cautious person, which I'm thankful for. I remember when you did, we were at Nadia Come and Eat, you did the backflip when you were pregnant or when you broke your toe pregnant.
Petting a puppy.
I was, I think one thing that makes me nervous is like, dang, what if there was actually like a car accident?
Yeah.
And you or the bump got, hurt or there's high impact. I don't think about it often, but those are some thoughts that we actually never really talk about. I know you say you're scared. I don't know if you've fully voiced like through, as we're giving birth or walking into the hospital, you're like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
We haven't really broken that down fully, but those are some of my thoughts.
Thank you for sharing. That's actually a question we've never talked about.
Yeah.
And something we've never voiced. I think I voiced it to you on a podcast a couple podcasts ago, how I say the same prayer in birth. I mean, I know I've only given birth twice, but I remember saying this prayer on the operating table with Drew and repeating it with Jet, which was, God, I just pray that you bring this baby into this world safely and like they get a chance to be a part of our world. And if you don't mind, can you help me stick around to be a part of it too?
Yeah.
And I think that's just me like admitting the same thing that you just admitted. Like, I know birth has been around since the beginning of time, but it is scary. And yeah, I would say a fear of mine is not making it through birth.
It's pretty wild with how regular of a thing birth is and how many tools and gadgets we have nowadays that people still have that experience, Sorry, one thing that I've been learning about as athletes, we talk about visualization all the time. Like visualize what outcome you want. Visualize what that feels like to stand on the podium or to win or to have a successful play. There's this idea of stoicism or philosophy of stoicism that I've been learning about. I think there's a lot of overlap with Christianity, sidebar, but they have this concept of negative visualization. So imagining your life without something, with the goal being you appreciate that thing more. And as sad as that is, I think maybe I might do that. Like, dang,
Oof, no,
it helps you live every day. Like if I wake up and spend 30 seconds thinking about what would my life be like without Shawn, just 30 seconds, it helps me appreciate you more.
I feel like The Secret, as in the book and the movie, would say nothing good will come of that.
No, there's several good things, but we could talk about that after. Negative visualization.
My reality, I
it.
live in a world where my brain naturally goes to all of those situations. So I actively have to work towards not thinking about them. But like, I think part of my innate motherly side is like, what could go wrong? What could I possibly have to deal with? Like,
but okay, so don't channel that into worry. Channel that into just considering what could go wrong and allowing that to prepare you for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't
want to prepare for that.
Okay, all right. Moving on from negative visualization. Shawn, how have we learned to communicate better in this specific pregnancy?
I feel like we've learned to communicate better in this pregnancy through the other ones. I feel like in our first pregnancy, I didn't know what I needed. You didn't know what I needed. We'd never really been through a full pregnancy before. So it wasn't until after the fact, when we got pregnant with Jet, we reflected on Drew's pregnancy and we were like, how could that have gone better? And we were like, do you need to take more time off of work? Do I need a different type of doctor? Like we went through the whole list. And then now being the third kid, I feel like we've been able to reflect now on 2 full-term pregnancies where it's like, how can we relate and reflect on both? What did we do good? What did we do bad? What could we improve on? And I feel like you and I have had just very matter-of-fact, transparent conversations on like, this doesn't work and this does. And I think some of the stuff that we've found is I tend to overwork when I'm pregnant. Like, I tend to feel, I continue life as if nothing has changed. And I feel sick and I'm really tired. And my patience, my bandwidth is not as great. So I either snap or break too much. So, like, how can we reduce my bandwidth a little bit during this pregnancy to make it so that doesn't happen?
Dang, yeah.
And then I think we have learned firsthand with communication that in both pregnancies, I don't take care of myself very well. As far as like proactively stretching, seeing chiropractors, taking prenatals, doing things so that by the end of my pregnancies where I have very large children, I'm not miserably in pain.
Like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah.
Shawn is definitely the person to put someone else's oxygen mask on before her own, in the airline.
Yeah, which is funny. Which is funny you say that because every time I fly with my kids and the flight attendant comes over the intercom and they say that, I'm like, you're out of your mind. I will be putting my kids' masks on first.
Nice.
Before I ever attempt my own.
I feel like because yes, we have 2 pregnancies to benchmark against and to reference, and also other life circumstances. I feel more your teammate today, now, and over the past, like growing over the past couple months than I ever have, and I love it. I freaking love having you as a teammate.
Freaking love having you as a teammate, and I think it's worth saying we're not going to go into details, but we have referenced lately in a lot of podcasts, there's been a lot of hardship that has kind of surrounded our life. Not our life in particular, but a lot of friends are just going through
stuff.
Very dark valleys. A lot of family members are going through very dark valleys. And it has challenged us to be better people. It has challenged us to be more supportive with our circles, more integrated, and
wow,
what
integrated, nice.
It is. Like it's literally what we've been doing, and it has made us a stronger couple because it has forced us to have a lot of very, very hard conversations.
Can I tell a story real quick? We had game night the other night, which was great, and Jared, he came up to me. He was like, "Do you remember the first time that Shawn and I competed against each other?"
Which is funny.
And I was like, "No." But apparently I had to apologize to Jared on your behalf because there was this game of Mega Jenga going on, and Jared bumped the table, the Jenga tower fell over, and Shawn was really upset. And I think historically, previously I was like bashful or in some ways like embarrassed on your behalf, which seems so dumb. I know, I'm just being honest. With
that
certain things,
intense.
right? But now I look at that, I'm like, Shawn's competitive as all get out. I love it.
I mean, let's see, Jared. Did you accidentally bump it on purpose? Knowing Jared.
But you get my point. There was like, I was trying to fit you into a certain mold when I really just needed to let you do your thing.
And I did the same exact thing with you.
I mean, I'm sure there's still things we do that with, but I've
sure.
more tried to just embrace who Shawn is and love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm ultimately not. What can I change?
And right back at you. I've done the same thing.
Buddha bop.
Okay. At this rate, we're not going to make it through this question.
5-hour podcast.
Baby.
Yes.
Do you wish more people talked about all the shifts that come with being a dad?
No. I honestly, I think probably you can talk too much about pregnancy. Maybe we do. I hope we talk about it meaningfully. But like, at some point, you won't understand the words.
Yeah.
You have to go through the experience.
I agree.
So I think like
it's that reflective side, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's all about reflecting. I agree.
It's like you can preach only so much before people go through it and then come back to all this. They're like, yeah.
But let me revise my answer a little bit. I do think, as I've had conversations with more people here in Nashville, there is a lack of community with everyone really, but males specifically. And I'm like, yeah, in that realm of having community that you can talk to if you need to, like, dude, this dad thing isn't what I thought, or I'm going through a hard time. Yes, I think there should be a stronger form of male community. But that's a whole nother topic. You ready for your second question?
Yeah.
Shawn, are there any areas you feel like you're struggling with in your pregnancy this time around?
Yes. I have been very open about this with my first pregnancy. Didn't talk about it too much with Jet's pregnancy, but I didn't feel like I went through it. So I have a history of like eating disorders and like body image issues and all these things. And I was really scared going into my first pregnancy, how that would affect it. My first pregnancy, I was very grateful. It almost like, for a lack of a better word, cured it for a while. I don't know how to say that. I felt the same way with Jet's pregnancy. This one
Explain that. Well, let me explain. Shawn felt like her body had purpose.
Yeah.
And so it was less about her and her body and more about what her body is doing for the kids.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And I felt that through the whole pregnancy with both Drew and Jet. I'd say I've struggled with it a little bit this time.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't mean that in like an insecure way. There have been times where I've had like vanity thoughts of like, how is my body changing this much, this fast with a third? I can definitely tell the third pregnancy is just different. It just happens different. Your body's gone through the motions. Your body has taken a beating twice already. So now it's going through a third time. So things are just changing. And I don't have as much time to like work out and take care of myself. My body's just changing. And I think I've noticed that a little bit differently in my mind. Not bad yet, where like I should get back with a psychologist or nutritionist. It's all very manageable. But I have noticed little thoughts here and there where I'm like, that's an unnecessary thought to have.
Can I share something I've noticed?
Yeah.
How beautiful you are and how much I love you.
I was like, where's this going?
I know.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
You're as adorable and
Thank you.
sexy
Okay.
now as you've ever been.
I think.
I mean that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I don't mean to deflect that. Thank you. And I will add, I think one of the main reasons for that is after 2 C-sections and 2 births, I felt like my body had a lot of healing to do. And that has nothing to do with body image. That was like, I just didn't feel strong. I feel like I needed to rehab my core. And right before we got pregnant, I had just started to feel like I had that under control again. I was healing my body so beautifully. And then I got pregnant again. I was like, oh no. So.
It's going to be.
But also very excited.
I love you.
I love you. Andrew.
Yes.
Safe space here. I mean that. How would you say I've been emotionally in this pregnancy?
Emotionally, you've been pretty good. First trimester was tough.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst one yet. I think we did a full YouTube video on it. You can go check out on the first trimester debrief. I think because of your awareness of like, I need to go take a nap, we've had less conflict, which I really appreciate. I also like, I'm here to help, dude. So I hope you've realized that over the past couple pregnancies. So like, I know I do some things that annoy you or that are not helpful, but I intend to help you.
I know.
So just ask or like communicate. I need to go take a nap. I need food. I need to take 10 minutes by myself for peace and quiet. I'm happy to accommodate.
I will agree. First trimester, this pregnancy has been the worst. I don't mean that like emotionally, but it was the worst first trimester. I was very sick. I felt horrible. Life was throwing us some wild curveballs that we were dealing with on top of everything else. So yeah, thanks for sticking with it. But I agree. This one has been a little bit different in the sense of like 2 days ago, I was like, today is a really bad pregnancy day. I feel terrible. And like, if I can, now that I reflectively can say that, Andrew's like, cool, go sleep.
Shawn used to know that it was a really bad pregnancy day, but not tell me until like the end of the day. And then she'll be like, it's just been a bad pregnancy day. It's like, you should have told me that at 7 a.m. this morning, bruh.
I will say there is a stigma around pregnancy that women can tend to fear they fall into, which is like the complaining pregnant woman. People talk about it. They make memes and GIFs about it, GIFs, whatever. It's about comedy skits, but like there's so much going on with your body that some women deal with pregnancy harder than others. And I think in my mind, I don't ever want to show weakness. It's something that I should work through. So I'm like, oh, just tough it out. And at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, actually, that was a hard day. Whereas now I'm trying to reverse that.
But you could say, hey, can I take 5 minutes and not have to, I get, like, you're not fooling anybody. It's not, you're either going to verbally complain or your body language will communicate that. So it's, hey, can I take 5 minutes? It's a good workaround to that.
I know.
Third question. What has worried you the most about this pregnancy so far?
We're getting really honest, guys. What has worried me the most? This thought that I just can't get over, that I try to push away. We haven't talked about any of this. This is wild. Because I think we lost 2 pregnancies in trying for this one, because we have had 2 miracle children who are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten through 2 C-sections, births, all of it. We got through the 2-vessel cord. In the back of my mind, I'm like, there's no way we can have a third.
Wow.
And it's just like this doomsday thought of,
We've gotten too lucky.
yeah,
That is doomsday, dude.
I know.
Crazier things have happened.
I know.
Then
We need to move on.
are you okay?
Yeah. I don't like thinking about that.
What?
I know. I'm pregnant. Okay, we can't ask these questions. Jenny! It freaks me out. I think pregnancy gets scarier every time. People say it gets easier. I think it gets scarier because you know more and more. Oh my gosh. How much of a miracle it is. Why am I crying?
That ain't gonna have me tear up, man.
Andrew. What are we doing here? How would you say I've been handling the topic of body image with this pregnancy?
Good. I think you've been honest with me. What more can you ask? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm just pregnant.
You're cute. It's gonna be okay.
I know.
Yeah, I think you've been honest. Does that suffice as an answer?
Yes.
Shawn, how does it make you feel when other women talk about themselves negatively during pregnancy?
Oh, it makes me really sad. I relate to it. I understand it, but it's so much easier to be the outside person looking in and understand like that woman's going through so much. If only she could see the beauty of it. Like it's easier to preach than practice.
Yeah.
So it makes me sad.
It's a long process too, so there's a lot of days and moments
It
to
is.
talk
We're only
negative.
halfway. How? Okay. Andrew, do you feel pressure when you think of adding another baby to the family? How do you deal with the pressure?
No, honestly, the older Jet and Drew have gotten, the more excited I am about having more kids, which I know is a whole another conversation. And this will likely be our last pregnancy. But I feel like I've just kind of come to terms with the dad thing, parenting, and like what life looks like. 0 to 1 was hard because it was like the whole identity shift that we've talked about. Your schedule changes, your friend group changes. There's a lot of new things, like you're doing chores, whatever, all this stuff. And then going from 1 to 2 was just weird because you're like, I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm hoping 2 to 3 is just like adding to the joy. And to negative visualization, like, wow, what if we don't have a fourth? What if we don't? It's like, this is going to really be a precious time having a third baby. The first 2 weeks with the skin to skin, I freaking love. I know it'll be different because we'll have Jet just BMXing all around our living room as we do that. But like, no, I don't feel pressure. I just feel excited and hot dang. People don't really talk about how fun parenting is. I feel like we're on the front porch this morning watching Jet learn how to ride his bike down the hill. It's awesome.
Wild.
It's so fun.
He's a wild man.
I really do love it. Shawn, how does your faith play a role in your day-to-day life in this pregnancy?
Well, I told you my doomsday thought. So my day-to-day faith plays a huge role because I'm just like all day, every day, like, God, protect this baby. Give him the strength to stick with us, make it all the way here, protect their body and their mind. So I think how my faith plays a role is I have a very active mind. And whenever it starts to run down paths that I don't enjoy thinking about, I switch over to faith. And I'm like, you know what? It's a good time just to give it all to God.
Which, when you mean that, are you talking like reflecting and praying? Are you talking about hoping and like dream casting or whatever you want to call that? Are you talking about just like acknowledging humility?
I think it's just acknowledging the way that my mind deals with lack of control is by faith, which some people could say is dreaming or being hopeful or whatever, whereas I would say it's more prayer.
So it's like hey, I can't do anything else.
I give this to you. All these thoughts I'm going to give to you, and just in exchange say a prayer or have a conversation and be like, can you help protect us? And I don't mean that in exchange, like I'm owed anything. I'm not owed anything by God. But I deal with uncertainty and fear and doubt and worry by talking to the big guy.
So it's like it's giving that all up bundled with like this hopeful optimism kind of is what faith does. I dig it.
We'd like to thank today's sponsor, AG1.
AG1. Man, do we love AG1 over here. I first gave AG1 a try back years ago because I was always tired of Googling the latest health supplements to try to optimize my immune system. And I just wanted a one-stop shop to make sure I was getting all of the vitamins that I can just in one dose. So it was pretty overwhelming initially trying to keep up with the latest health trends that may or may not work. So I love knowing that AG1 just has me covered right there.
And AG1 is always trying to better its supplement. So I think they've gone through like 73 iterations, constantly making it just a little bit better. I drink AG1 first thing in the morning before the kids get up, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something good for my health. I love to take some me time in the morning before everyone else is awake, and AG1 has always been part of that routine.
AG1 was designed with ease in mind so you can prioritize your health without having to complicate your routine. Listen, there's no need for a bunch of pills. All you do is mix 1 scoop of AG1 with water every day, and that's it.
And I love knowing that every scoop of AG1 is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food sourced ingredients that benefit my gut health, boost my mood, and also give me healthier looking hair, skin, and nails.
They invest a lot into making sure this is scientifically backed, and I'm convinced it works. So if you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/couplethings.
That's drinkag1.com/couplethings.
Check it out. Next question.
Andrew, do guys think about their reaction when the baby is born? Do they feel like they have to act a certain way?
I didn't think about my reaction. No. It's a craziest bundle of emotions, though.
It is.
It's crazy. It's like terror and crying,
Yeah.
holding your hand because Shawn had C-sections and she's trembling. She's always cold or she's just not normal, which is scary. And in that operating room is like the most intense realization that something could go wrong. It's like there's blood and there's doctors and you're like, oh, this is a surgery.
Yeah.
And they're cutting open her stomach, which is like a very vulnerable part of your body. But then you hear a baby crying and it's like,
I know.
You realize you've been waiting 9 months to hear that cry and now it's here. It's like this, it's such an intense, oh my gosh, I love that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't think about it. We do, we have filmed historically the deliveries, but the way we film, it's like set it up in the corner.
Our anesthesiologist holds it.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Because I don't even remember that until now. But we always hand it off to the anesthesiologist.
Yeah. And I'm glad we've done that. But like my focus is not, hey, how can I look sweet on camera? You're wearing these dumb little white poofy outfits. Like no one, it's not going to be cool. It's just, I want to be there in the moment, you know?
Yeah. This all makes me think that we should have Mama Dr. Jones back on and ask her all these questions about C-sections. Like, why do I shake?
Oh, I dig it. Let's do it. Mama Dr. Jones, tee it up.
You come up, answer our questions.
No, next question.
Oh, yeah.
Shawn, anything you wish you did differently with your other pregnancies?
No. I mean, I learned from my other pregnancies, so they ended perfectly, beautifully with our babies. I think I don't want to go regretful and go backwards and be like, I wish I changed this, because I don't. I think with this pregnancy, I would love to be a little bit more proactive. Historically, with both Drew and Jet, I get horrible sciatic pain and horrible low back pain starting about halfway forward. Because of how big our babies are and how I carry and all these things. So I would love to be more proactive to where that doesn't become the case. But if it can't happen, it's fine.
Can I say one thing?
What?
Well, first of all, probably you don't want to break your toe again like you did.
Yeah.
Would be one change. And then also the adhesive that causes the rash.
We have to have a conversation about this with
I'm saying it right now to
all of our doctors
to bring it up in top of mind.
Dude, I think I have a latex allergy. I don't know what it is. Actually, I'm going to throw this to you guys. If you guys know what this is. My C-section scar, so C-section mamas, they stitch you up internally and then they put this big strip on you.
It's like a big Band-Aid.
Whenever that strip comes off, it starts when it's on. I think it starts when it's on. Anyways, right. It's all around my C-section scar. I get this horrible, to be an understatement, horrible rash that itches so badly. I want to take a knife and cut the skin off. And it starts traveling down my legs and all the way up my stomach.
It gets pretty gnarly.
And it will last a month or two.
It gets pretty gnarly.
Dude, I don't want to experience that again.
What made me think of it is I put a band on my foot and I took it off and it was like swollen. I was like, what the heck? And it reminded me of your whole stomach section after you take that off.
Guys, I forgot about that, babe. We cannot let that happen again.
I got you. Next question.
I thought, is it like the iodine? Is it
We've been through a lot.
Okay. Last one, baby. Not last one. Wow. Baby, how has your view of pregnancy changed after watching firsthand all that pregnancy does to a woman's body, mind, energy, etc.?
The first pregnancy, I had no reference point. Mm-hmm. And I probably a lesser appreciation of just you as a person. Mm-hmm. So when you would, say, hey, I don't feel good today, I'd be like, stop complaining.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get older, have more friends that get pregnant, see how their wives react and respond to it. And then it all those collective experiences have made me appreciate you more and take you seriously. Like I'm embarrassed to say that I probably didn't take you as seriously as I should have.
It's okay.
But now I'm getting better. And that's the whole game. I'm getting better.
I think the greatest mind shift for you was when I broke my toe. I feel like I noticed the biggest shift in you after that.
Shawn said that she thought she like the rock had stubbed her toe pretty much, and then the doctor also thought that
because he was like wiggling it and moving it.
Yeah, and Shawn was just sitting there.
He's like, "You got a bone bruise."
And then they did X-rays, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, your pain tolerance is nuts. You didn't get a bone bruise. You shattered your toe.
It's in half."
He's like, "I cannot believe you're just sitting here normal. Like most people would be knocked out from whatever." So I've, yeah. If that answers the question. Next
I
up.
also want to give Andrew props real quick. I've been really impressed through the years with the relationship you've formed with our OB. You ask so many questions and like are truly genuinely interested and curious about the whole process. It's been cool to watch that. What ways do you struggle?
No, it's my turn.
Oh.
Question 7. Do you think after this baby there's any possible chance of a fourth is adoption, foster care, or another pregnancy down the line possible if the OB approved it?
Yes.
Wow.
I have said this since the day we got pregnant. Right now, I feel as if this is my last pregnancy. I don't know if it's our last baby. We'll see how we deal with 3. I think I did say in a YouTube video I felt like we were complete, but we'll see.
We don't really have that many people in our close circle who have adopted. So like that is this looming question mark in my mind of like, I kind of want to explore it just to see, it makes sense for us or anyway, your turn.
What ways do you struggle with being a dad? Impatience, unrealistic expectations, anger, being present, etc. And how do you want to work on that area for this next baby?
Gosh, patience is always a thing in parenting, I feel like.
I think you have better patience than I do.
I appreciate that. That's been one thing. Shawn's patience this pregnancy has probably been lower than normal.
Yes.
To her earlier question.
Working on it.
So yes, that. I think I really am kind of more of an introvert. Like, meaning I need my solo time more than you like it. You like to be you and me.
Yeah.
I like to just be me. I think a weakness of mine as a dad is like trending toward or thinking about that as opposed to, no, this is a phase of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like always this tension. Honestly, I don't know if we're too loose with the kids. I would say we're intentionally hands off with the kids. We let them do dangerous things carefully, as the saying goes, right? I don't know, like it's a weird line to try to figure that out. I think I probably, like when I'm watching the kids, I'm pretty hands, and I'll let Jet climb the play set and do all the crazy things, which has worked out because that dude is now capable as anything, and he's really physically aware, right? But maybe that was just luck. What else do you think? What?
Nothing at all. I like watching you reflect.
Any other dad moments I'm overlooking? Where do I struggle as a dad?
I think something I've noticed you working on more and more is I feel like you're acknowledging more and more how different Drew and Jet are and how they have different needs.
I never really had that thought until just now. So that's good.
Well, and you can see like Jet wants the rough housing. He wants to get down and dirty with you. Drew wants your attention, and she wants to be your princess in such a fragile way. And I've seen you kind of work on that more and more lately.
That would be one thing. Is I probably we've never had this conversation. I worry about Drew getting too much attention. So I think I take it upon myself to like try not to get. I'll intentionally withhold, which is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, oh, I shouldn't compliment her hair and her dress every day. She's gonna get used to this, and it's like, is that gonna lead her down to be this like vain? Like, is she gonna be vain, or is that gonna lead to body image? So I'm like, maybe overthinking is that.
I think you're probably the most important person in her life, way more than me.
It's a big role.
I believe that.
I love her.
And I think how you treat her every single day, day in and day out, will define the husband she looks for someday.
I treat her well.
Oh, beautifully. But I'm saying, like, don't ever worry about the vanity. It's like you're instilling such a confidence in her coming from the most important man in her life that when your eyes light up looking at her and it's because she wants to show you her hair, that gives her such confidence in herself. Like, I distinctly remember that from my dad.
Yeah.
My mom would take me shopping and I'd get a new outfit and I could not wait to go home and show it, like try it on and show it to my dad, because he made me feel like I was the most beautiful person in the world.
Yeah, I dig that. Sorry, last thing. This goes back to like me being an introvert, but I'm a big like focus. Like when I'm focused on something, don't interrupt me. And so I've gotten better at. Drew wants to show me something she's excited about. Put whatever I'm focused on aside, whether it's a book or a project I'm working on or a computer. Hey, I would love to see that. And like make eye contact with her, show her that distraction is out of my way and give her my attention.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Does having more babies make you wish you had siblings growing up?
Yes. I loved my life. I love my life. I love my parents. My parents are my best friends. They were my best friends my whole life. But I think it's because of seeing the dynamic of siblings.
It's really fun.
With you and your siblings now as adults. I love that. And I want our kids to have that.
It's
So
really
like, I wouldn't change anything about my childhood. I love how close we are to my parents, everything. But I think that bond is really special.
If you're close with your siblings, there's no other relationship like it.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
What advice would you have for any guys out there who really want to be a dad, but their wife may not be ready to get pregnant yet?
There are a lot of ways to live a fulfilling, purposeful, meaningful, fun life. Having kids is one of them. As parents, Shawn and I talk about that our marriage comes first and our kids reap the benefits of us having a strong marriage. I think that applies to this situation where you are in this marriage that is the most important relationship in your life. You've committed to this person. Don't just try to don't do anything to disrespect. Don't do anything to try to rush or pressure or manipulate. Like, that marriage should be cared for very tenderly and zoom out and see the long game. Like, you know, you have a pretty large window of time to have kids in. And if you're just wanting them now, like, maybe that's partially selfish, right? Mm-hmm. So take care of your spouse, because that's the first commitment you made. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
I think you have the best chance at your marriage and the best chance of being great teammates and parents when you're both on the same page.
I dig that.
So you got to wait for that.
I dig it. What advice would you give to anyone out there who has been trying to get pregnant for a long time and keeps getting their hopes up and then gets disappointed?
lean into your spouse, communicate, surround yourself with a supportive, good community that you can talk to, heal with, heal through, and never forget that if you're dealing with, the disappointment or devastation of not being able to have kids on your own, there are other ways. And there are a lot of babies out there that need parents. There's actually a influencer, Bella. We'll link it down in the description below.
Della Vlogs. She just adopted yesterday. Did you see that?
I bawled like a baby.
You watched it?
I watched every second of it. I bawled like a baby.
Really?
Della Vlogs. Go watch their adoption story. I mean, I was almost put to my knees. It's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. Last question, Andrew. In what areas do you think you've supported me well throughout pregnancy? And what areas do you think you could better support me? That sounds like a interesting question.
I think I could probably be more hospitable in the sense of hey, planning things for you to look forward to, or surprising you with hey babe, I booked you. I blocked your afternoon off from work, and you're going to get a massage. I didn't, but that's a good idea. I'm trying to do that with getting you in to see the doctor. I think I've done a better job at that.
Yeah.
But just thinking of you more, and how can I proactively take care of you in a way that gives you something to be excited about, that actually gives you more reasons to love me, as ridiculous as that is. Hey, how can I be a dope husband for Shawn right now?
I love that.
Let me do something really cool and thoughtful for her. It's selfish, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? I want you to love me the most.
I feel like you've been the most supportive in this pregnancy so far. And I feel like you were very supportive in the first two. But I think we're getting better at this thing.
We are.
Yeah.
Last question for you. How have you personally grown since becoming pregnant or becoming a mom?
I have a lot of areas to still work on. All of the same areas that I have grown better in. But I think I've just learned a lot about motherhood. I've learned a lot about babies. I've learned a lot about pregnancy. My understanding of it all is so much greater. I'm working on my patience right now, being exhausted and tired with kids. But I think my patience has gotten better since day one. I think my open-mindedness has grown, or that category. I think I've loosened the reins a little bit and just kind of allowed our kids to be more of who they were born to be, and rather than who I wanted them to be, I guess. And it's been a very beautiful thing.
Yeah. I think we're surrounded by a lot of people that have passionate feelings on the style with which you should raise kids. I think one effect that's had on both you and I is this person has style A, which is directly contradictory to style B. Mm-hmm. And it's we used to feel like we needed to make camp with one or both of those, but we've really just grown in empathy for oh, that's just how they're doing it, Mm-hmm. And that's how they're doing it. And there's no right or wrong way.
I think, to add to that too, I think a perspective shift that has changed in both of us so much over the years. Since getting pregnant with Drew to now being halfway through our third, is this idea. I remember going into our first birth and planning through that whole pregnancy. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to have, this is our birthing plan. This is everything. This is what our kids are going to be into. This is when they're going to hit their milestones, all of these things. And you so quickly learn that these little people are their own little people. And that it is not our job to raise them to become a particular person. It is our job to help them grow into who they're supposed to be, whoever God made them. So, like, we're not determining their, I don't know, life trajectory. We're trying to, like, help them flourish. And it's been fun to kind of take a step back and be like, dude, Jet has fallen in love with a bike and he's running with it. And the best thing I can do is be his biggest cheerleader in that. And Drew thinks she will be a real life princess that happens to be a pilot at the moment. And all she talks about is how she wants to be in the clouds. And right now, the best thing I can do is help that grow.
I love parenting, and I think you're a great mom and great pregnant lady.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening and just joining us on this pregnancy journey again. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, give the show a rating, like it, follow along, whatever platform you're on. I guess it depends. But we love you guys. What a treat. And I love you.
I love you, baby. Hey, thank you for being the best teammate, the best supporter.
I'm glad to have you.
Being along and being our baby's daddy.
And by the way, I've realized Shawn is the best teammate because I believe that I think she is.
Right back at you.
It's not like there should be no jealousy of like, oh, Shawn. Well, Andrew's married to Shawn and he got this dope teammate. It's like, no. We've like just mutually said, I am choosing to have you be the best teammate for me.
Right back
and I
at
will
you.
every day make that choice. And it's a thought. It's a mindset. It's faith. That's all we got. I'm Andrew.
I'm Shawn.
We're the East Fam. Out.